Welcome back to the Football Pandemic. I am Matthew Thomas. I'm just kidding. I'm Josh. I'm with Brandon. We're going to talk about the NFL schedule released 2 weeks ago, talk about some breaking news in the NFL, and do some trivia from BDGE.com. Shout out to BDGE. Great trivia guys, great fantasy guys. We're going to test our ball knowledge and see if we can do any better than they did or any better than anybody else in the world. So we'll get right into it. First thing we're talking about is the NFL is implementing in preseason the first or the 3 preseason games in the NFL Hall of Fame game. They're implementing a digital yardstick to more accurately look into if where the ball is placed and where it should be placed, if it's a first down or whatnot. And Brandon, what do you think about this?
I like it overall. It's going to get down to not necessarily the perspective of the ref and where they're standing anymore, but where the ball is placed. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty similar to those digital, uh, tape measures,
Oh
and
yeah.
it'll say, you know, that ball went exactly 10 and a half yards. And if there was 10 yards to go, that's a first down, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming the accuracy they're going to want is probably within the millimeter range.
Hmm.
And so we're going to be able to see that a lot more accurately. I'm excited to see if it is like that. Again, we for sure don't know yet what it's going to be like,
Hmm.
but I hope it is. Hope it is something like that, and then I hope to see it implemented in the regular season.
See, I was thinking whenever I first saw it, I was thinking it'd be like I'd imagine there's already ball like computer chips in the balls anyway, but I'd imagine those chips would be some sort of some in some way like correlated to the like a chip or so something in the field or whatever. And it'd be
Hmm.
like looking at it vertically or something like that and be like, all right, this the ball across this point, first down or touchdown or whatever the challenge is or something like that. I actually never thought about it from that point of that perspective of it, and so it'd be really interesting to see how it kind of gets implemented. And I mean, like you said, I think it's be really interesting, and I really think if it goes well, it could be implemented in the future because
Hmm.
as we progress, technology is only going to get better and better, and so it's even if it does fail, they're just gonna go back to the lab and work on it, and at some point within the next decade, I bet, we're gonna have, like, no yardsticks and, like this in the case of emergency, like they said for this thing, and it's just gonna be all, like, electronic technology stuff, for first down yardage and whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I think it'll be good. But then you can also start tracking um, more accurate yard losses.
Mhm.
So let's say the technology runs the length of the field, right?
Yeah.
Imagine being able to track exactly from where the ball was thrown, down to the millimeter of
Mhm.
how far the ball was thrown, or how far from the back of the end zone was the receiver's feet.
Yeah.
If it's outlined in the end zone, and they're like, well, we've been trying to look for a blade of grass is distance, right?
Mhm.
Was it on the line or was it off the line? And we're looking for that blade of grass. Imagine it being able to just having it tell you, yeah, it's, you know, he had he had 2 millimeters left in bounds,
Mhm.
or he
Yeah.
was 2 millimeters out of bounds. Now, I do think there is going to be some issues with it, kind of like what happened in the tennis world with their virtual judge.
Oh, yeah.
There's just hundreds of cameras around the stadium analyzing this, and it knows the answer before the play actually happens using
Mhm. Mhm.
projections. Um, I think that could be an issue if that's the route they went with it,
Mhm.
but they would analyze the after play ruling of these things. But I do like the idea of it overall.
Going back to your tou the you were describing the touchdown. I just found this out a couple days ago, but remember in like the early 2000s, maybe very early 2010s, the the pillars, what are they called? The orange things, pylons. The pylons were just probably bags of sand and cotton or whatever, and kept them up. And they've gone so far in the last 15 years to the point where they have, of course, they have cameras and technology, whatever, in these pylons, but they have fans in the back of those pylons to make sure that technology doesn't overheat. Can you like, of course, that's going to help with the, like what you were saying with the, that blade of grass thing, but can you imagine, like, we've come that far in 15 to 10 to 15 years with that, just a single pylon where nobody imagined that would happen in 2010 or 2012 or whatever.
Hmm.
I can't imagine what we're going to do in the next 5-10 years with the technology we have for the NFL or actually any sport in general.
Yeah, I think eventually what'll happen is there'll be sensors all over the field.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an all grass field like the Packers do, there's your layer of sand, and then there's soil, and then I think it'll be sensor, and then a
Mm-hmm.
thin layer of soil, and then grass. And so you'll be able to accurately portray stuff more. But I think within those sensors, players are going to be wearing them in their shoes, so
Yeah.
they can track
Mm-hmm.
exactly which players were where, or in their helmets, or something to have contact.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like the inside lining of the football, I would imagine eventually would get some sort of a flexible sensor, and so it
Mm-hmm.
can have some give, but then you can track some data like that. Imagine tracking the exact rotation speed of a football on a throw.
I mean, they already do something like that with the like Sports Center Science or whatever, where they
Mhm.
or whatever. But you can tell from what we're talking about for the last 5 or so minutes, we're both excited about this, but excited and interested about this new technology thing being implemented in the NFL, and we're excited what the NFL some rules, some things we're excited about, but this is one thing we're excited about that could be really turned into something big for the next 5 or 10 years in the NFL.
Yep.
So, now that we talked about that, we're going to get into some trivia, like we mentioned, from BDGE. They're a big YouTube fantasy channel on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, and they do trivia based off of custom trivia, based off of different games. They're amazing at it. That one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube when I get home from work. And so recently, within the last month, they actually put on their website, their fantasy website. They have put it on a trivia game that you can play with. You play yourself, but you can play with other people like me and Brendan are now, and different things, different creative things. Like our the one we're going to be playing now is 6'4" or higher to ride. And basically, it is name every active wide receiver in the NFL that is 6'4" or taller, according to PFR, Pro Football Reference, I believe. And they must have had to qualify for this list. They must have had 50 or more receiving yards in 2023. So let me see if I can zoom in any farther.
Do
And
we have
we'll
to
just
go in order?
no, you can go wherever you want.
All right.
Let's get the obvious ones out of the way first. So Mike Evans is number 2.
Michael
Is
Pittman is probably number 3.
I was thinking that. I just don't know the receivers. Matthew would be able to tell us. Let me see 1 second. We have 5 strikes to guess, and out of 19 players, so we have a lot of wiggle room where to guess Michael Pittman. Yep, you're right. I'd imagine DK Metcalf, or is this one? Is he Seahawk? I think he's. I know he's tall. I don't know if he's 6'5", 6'4" or higher, but like you said, we got wiggle room, so let's just go with it. Yep. All right.
Number 8, would that be Mike Williams? I think he's a
I
bit
don't
taller than Keenan Allen.
see. Both of them are off the roster, but it says 50 receiving yards from 2023 or from 2023. So I don't know if that's their status in 2023 or not. So I want to save that one to kind of for the last, because I know Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are tall, but I don't know if that Keenan Allen is this bear or Mike Williams is this jet. You know what I mean?
No, I think it's from 2023.
All right, I'll see what happens, and I guess we can figure out because there is a bear and a jet on here. See,
No,
he's
start
listed.
with Mike Williams. Start with
He
Mike
is
Williams.
he is listed in the system as Keenan Allen is listed in the system as and he's listed as a Jet. So he's a Charger. It is 2023. So Keenan Allen is the other one. No, Keenan Allen is not 6'4" taller. Okay, maybe he's 6'3". You gotta know the Packer one. Who is it?
Christian Watson.
Okay, I was thinking that, but
I think he's 6'5".
you would know better than I would.
Yep.
I'd imagine the Falcon is Drake London, right? This is 2023 stuff.
Yeah, unless it's a wide receiver or tight end as well.
Wide receiver only.
Okay, because I was about to say I think Kyle Pitts would also fit that description.
Yeah, he definitely would.
Drake London, I would think so.
Mm-hmm. So there's 2 Falcons, and they're not tight ends.
Cortland Sutton for Denver.
Sutton, yeah, I think he's still there, so that obviously helps. Jamar Chase is not 6'5" or higher. I don't think he is, or 6'4" or higher.
No, it would have been. Oh, he's on the tip of my tongue.
T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd? It's like the only two I
T.
can think of.
Higgins. T. Higgins, I
T.
think.
Higgins is tall. All right, and he's still on the team, which helps a bit. Yep, it's
Yep.
him. All right, two Chiefs, which doesn't. As a lot, Michael Thomas or Olave tall, and for the Saints,
MVS, Marquez Valdez Scantling.
the Jets, or the Chiefs.
No, for the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yep. So we got that one out of the way.
I don't know how tall Garrett Wilson is.
That's what I was thinking. The only Jet on there, and he is tall. It's not Randall Cobb. We can tell you that. It's not him either.
Oh. I'm trying to think of 6'4" Bears.
Who
I
was
think DJ Moore is too short.
definitely too short? Who was the other Bronco? Cortland Sutton, and he got traded to the Browns. Jerry Jeudy, is he tall?
No.
Okay.
No.
Bears receivers. Is Jalen? Let's wow. Darnell Mooney, is he tall?
I didn't think he was that tall.
I don't know. You might be right. I know this one is not Tank Dell. He's like 5'7" or something like that. I'm probably under.
Why are they
hiding him.
listed as number 1? Is that the most obvious one?
No, it's just I think they just listed them in random order,
Okay.
and maybe it might be by height. Honestly, like tallest to shortest.
Is Jalen Waddle?
I know.
6'4"?
I was thinking. I don't know if he's tall. That
It is
tall,
definitely not Tyreek Hill.
it's not Jalen Waddle. Let me look. Previous guesses. Yeah, it's not Jalen Waddle. And Odell is definitely didn't play last year.
Well, they didn't have to play. They just had to get 50 yards.
No, yeah, but he also was not on a team last year. Is what I meant.
Yeah.
And it would have been with whatever team he played with. It wasn't with the Dolphins. Is Michael Thomas tall?
Michael Thomas is tall, but I don't know what he did last season. But 50 yards is not a lot.
It's not a lot. I know that. Not him. All right, we gotta lock in here real quick. So Tyler Lockett's not tall. Is this last Seahawk Jackson Smith and what's his name?
JSN. I thought JSN was more of a slot guy, a bit shorter. Is he not?
I don't know. I don't. I have no idea who the rest of these guys are, honestly, except so Tank Dell, the Texans, Tank Dell is definitely out. Nico Collins is an option, and Noah Brown is an option, is all I can think of. And I know Noah Brown is shorter, so my best guess is Nico Collins on this one. And we're down to our last strikes, so
let's go Nico Collins.
All right, staying in the game.
We're officially over 50%, Josh.
That is true. So the next one for my Jet, my thinking in this is Corey Davis is tall. Don't know if he's that tall, but he also retired last year, and he definitely didn't get 50 reception yards. So I can't think, and it's not Garrett Wilson. So I can't think of who it actually is.
I
know it'll give us the answers at the end, which is nice. So let me think. Darnell Mooney for the Bears is my next best guess. The Falcons, Matt Collins might.
Could it be Alan Lazard? I thought Alan Lazard was 6'3".
Lazard might be it. You definitely know that, be like the height, close relative height because of the Packers. So I'm going to go with that. Okay, Alan Lazard.
Oh, all right. Well, hold on. Let me look up how tall Alan Lazard actually was.
Probably 6'4" at the dot.
Yeah, I thought he was 6'3" for sure. All right, let's see here. Oh, he's 6'5".
Are you serious?
Oh, wow.
I didn't think he was that tall, but anything.
And he registered 300 receiving yards. All right, Alan Lazard, done.
So I don't have. Is Joshua Palmer tall for the Chargers?
I would think so.
So
Um,
Josh Palmer is my best guess for the Chargers. Falcons, not a clue. Maybe Matt Collins, but he also played for the Dolphins, and I don't know if he just signed with the Dolphins or is played with them last year. I have no idea. So it could be really a double guess here. What you have two right answers in certain situation. Broncos, no idea. Seahawks, no idea. Chiefs, no idea. Bears, maybe Mooney, and Saints, no idea. I know Matt Collins is not short. I know that for a fact. Like looking at an image of him in my head, long-haired, hippie boy, as my mom would say, not tall, not short at all. And I have no idea about Joshua Palmer. So my best guess right now is Matt Collins, honestly. And I don't even know if he played for the Falcons. I know he played for the Falcons at one point. I don't know if it was last year.
mhm. Um, we can hard. We can try Darnell Mooney or Nico. No, we already got Nico.
1 minute. Actually, that might help a lot easier. Matt Collins is in Buffalo right now. That actually doesn't help at all because Mooney, they give the current team. So, all right, we didn't get it. Oh, it was Equinemius. It was Equinemius St. Brown. It was Matt Collins. It was Chase Claypool for the Dolphins. Forgot he was there. Never was going to get these two.
No.
Maybe Jordan Humphrey if he tried hard enough. I know the name, I just didn't know his height.
I
Justin
would have
Ross.
gotten Justin Ross.
I wouldn't have either. And Quentin Johnson. He dropped balls too often for me to never ever look at him like that. So over 50%. I'll go check really quick how the crew at BDGE did. They do this daily for their trivia channel, and we'll see how he compared to them.
How did Adam Rank do? That's really all that matters.
That is true. That's all that matters. But probably doesn't play because he doesn't. They got 19 out of 19, so they're ball knowers. All right, moving on to our that's actually okay. Our team schedule. Brandon, you can go first with the Packers.
All right. Let me.
And remember, we're not doing a record prediction yet. Way too soon for that. So just if you like the schedule you were given, the NFL gave you, I guess, or you wouldn't make any changes type stuff.
Can you pull up the Packers schedule? It's not letting me share mine. I'll let you throw it up on the screen.
That's a big regular season. All right.
All right, and then scroll to the top really quick, Josh.
Or before we,
well, hold on, keep going. Go to printable schedule PDF, and allow all notifications, so you get notified about the Packers.
I don't see that.
You just denied it.
Oh, all right. So before we start, actually, who do you think had the best schedule release video?
The Packers. None of the rest mattered. It's playing right now. It's just below that.
It is. That is. Yeah, right here.
Yeah, Packers. I honestly didn't watch a ton of them.
I didn't either. I watched the Bears. My favorite one, just because it's my favorite movie, was the Patriots with the Good Will Hunting mirror video, I guess if you want to call it. I can't remember who did the really good one. I just can't think of it now. But I like the Bears. Honestly, I did really like the Bears and the Patriots.
Yeah. All right. You want to open that printable PDF?
Yeah, it's right here.
You put it on the screen.
Oh yeah. I was sharing the Packers schedule, not the PDF. All right. Let me zoom in real quick.
All right. Let's take a look. Regular season, Friday night football in Brazil on exclusively Peacock. That's another major piece of beef
Yeah.
that people are going to start having.
hmm
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
talk about that in a minute because
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like
like $600 now to watch.
well that, but like I was trying being I'm in Indianapolis. I'm relatively close to Indianapolis now for my job. I was and the Pacers, not football related, but the Pacers are in the playoffs. They're in the championship, in fact, and which is an exciting time for Pacers fans like myself. But like I don't have cable, which is not a problem. But like the NBA is I don't know what they do. It's for like every round or something like that. But last round was Hulu, HBO Max or Hulu or something like HBO Max and TNT, and this time it's YouTube TV. I don't have any of those, so like I don't. It's just annoying that I can't watch these games unless I like I guess pirate quote unquote pirate them or use one of those streaming sites or whatever. That's just really annoying.
Yeah. Um, I imagine the Packers have week one
hmm
with a big asterisk. It's the second game of the NFL season. They're going to do Thursday night football,
Yeah.
and they're going to do Friday night football, and then the rest of the week is regular as normal. It's in Brazil. It's going to be weird. The Eagles are a team that are very comparable to the Packers right now.
hmm
And so, I know we're not doing win predictions, but I think this one is, going to be a close game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Week one, I think Sirianni is coaching for his job this season.
I can see that too.
And so there's going to be a lot on the line, and I can see it going either way. Our home opener, we have Matthew Thomas and the Indianapolis Colts coming to town. That'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to that one. Then we go to Tennessee, come back, our division opener. The Vikings are in town. We go to LA, 2 home games. Arizona comes to town. Houston comes to town. We go to Jacksonville. The Packers awful at playing in Florida historically. Detroit comes to town. Week 10 bye, a late bye week. I kind of like it.
Oh, a late bye week. I'll get that. I'll get to that in a minute.
And then week 11, after the bye week, we're in Chicago. This is kind of after when Caleb Williams should have figured out the NFL, right? For his rookie season.
hmm
And so we'll see what happens there. 2 home games. We got the 49ers coming to town, and then the Packers are hosting a Thanksgiving game for the first time in forever with the Dolphins coming to town. I think last year we played in Miami during Christmas, on Christmas Day.
Yeah, Christmas Eve, I think. Yeah,
Christmas
or
Eve.
well, something like that. I do remember that.
Yep. Then 2 away games at Detroit, at Seattle. My birthday, the Saints are coming to town.
Yeah.
We go to Minnesota and then close the season at home against the Bears. Time and day to be determined. It'll probably end up being a primetime game, but they're unsure of it yet. A few notes about this schedule, right? Almost all of it is back to back, home away, home away, home away, right? There's one time where we're away 2 weeks in a row, weeks 14 and 15. Every other game.
And one time you're, actually 2 times you're home.
Yeah, and a couple times we have back-to-back home games. And so the strength of that is not available to any other organization. That's a big plus for the Packers. Having the late bye week, a week 10 bye week, in comparison to our previous couple years of weeks 5 and 6 bye week, is much better, and I enjoy that quite a bit. I am a bit disappointed. Almost all of our division games are in the last couple of weeks of the season. So like week 11 and on, we have 4 division games.
Yeah.
And so divisional standings are going to change a lot
matter. Yeah.
in the last quarter of the season. And so thinking about those things, some of those things make me nervous. Really, from the bye week to finish out the season, we can't drop games.
Yeah,
you just got to go in there and you have to win.
You're playing. I know we said no predicting, but you're playing last year at least. You're playing 3 playoff teams and 4, 5, 2 other borderline playoff teams in this stretch right here. So it'll be tough.
In all of our AFC games, with the exception of the Dolphins, which is our additional AFC matchup, is in the first quarter of the season. True. And so, week 2, Indianapolis, week 3 Tennessee.
Yep. You play AFC South back to back 2 times.
Yeah, and then week 7 and week 8, and then we're done with our AFC South matchups.
So besides this, we're not going to count this because it's the international game. It's going to be at this time anyway. What's crazy to me is these four games right here is Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and that just doesn't happen in the NFL. How does that happen? How does that happen?
Well, one of them is a special Thursday night game. That's Thanksgiving.
Thanks. Yeah.
And so put that into account. And then it's backed up with another Thursday night game. And so it's a regular week. It's a short week, regular week, long week.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird how that's set up, but they are all primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, allegedly that could change, you know, as the season unfolds. If any of these teams start folding, they can move that around as needed.
Yeah.
And if you know, Prime or NBC pays more money for a different matchup, you know, I'm sure the NFL would do it. But you know, the first half of the season, it's almost, let's look at this. With the exception of week 1, the first 9 weeks we have 6 noon games, which are fine. That's like a good way to get your feet going for the year, with the exception of week 1. You know, that's another special game.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm pleased with the schedule. I understand it's not the easiest schedule in the NFL, but it's going to stretch and test this team in a different way than our last season schedule did.
Yeah. Moving on to the Commanders schedule. So we play. Let me play. Let me pull it up real quick. Actually, there it is. Screen share. We play the AFC North and the NFC South, and then a couple games sprinkled in there and wherever. So we start out at Tampa Bay at 4:25. We had divisional opponent, and we're home for the Giants, our home opener. Week 3 we play the Bengals on Monday night, which I'm really bummed about. We only have, I think, one or two primetime games, and this was one of them. And this is the one game I didn't want primetime because now being 2.5, 3 hours from Cincinnati, and being the Commanders don't play the Colts this year, they'll have to wait 2 or so years for that. This is something besides the Lions game, playing the Lions, this is like one of the only other teams, and maybe the Browns if I want to go that far. But they don't play the Browns at home this time. They played in DC, so it wouldn't have happened anyway. This is like the one game I could have gone to this year, and the NFL, they probably figured that out, and they decided to put it Monday night at 8:15 for a 3-hour drive, making me get home around 2 or 3 in the morning. It's just not plausible for me, so that really sucks. But it's all right. It really depended on how these. I really would have gone depending on how we played these first 2 games if we had a chance against the Bengals. We play the Cardinals week 4 in Arizona, the Browns in DC week 5, the Ravens. So back-to-back AFC North teams. The Browns in DC, and then the Ravens in pretty much DC. I mean, it's about about an hour away. We're playing in Baltimore, so just we don't have to travel far. Week 7 we play the Panthers. Week 8 we play the Bears. 9 Giants, 10 Steelers, 11 Eagles, and 12 Cowboys. So back-to-back NFC East opponents again. Week 13 we play the Titans. Week 14 we have a bye, and this is something that I'm really indifferent about. I would have rather had a bye week 10, week 8, week 9, or something like that, right in the middle of the season, or somewhat late, like week 10 or week 11. I think our bye is one of the last weeks the bye is possible. And so if we're playing well, that's a plus, because let's say we're 7-6, 8-5 or something like that. Why after week 13? That gives us a week to rest when we play the Saints, the Eagles, the Falcons, and the Cowboys. 2 of these teams are probably going to make the playoffs unless something happens. The Falcons are a lot better than they were last year, so they'll probably make the playoffs too. So this threat and the Saints are a very big question mark. So this 3-week stretch right here is a very big plus for having this late bye week, but that only matters if we're actually playing well. If not, then it's just another bye week. And So that's my why I'm indifferent about it, but it's you got to live with it. Week 15 we play the Saints, 16 the Eagles. I think this is actually no, this one is. We play Thursday night against the Eagles, so we do have two primetime games, a Monday night and a Thursday night. Week 17 we play the Falcons, and 18 we play the Cowboys. We've played the Cowboys week 18, week 17, our last game of the season for the last like 3 or 4 years in a row, and it's just crazy that always happens. You can always count on that. You either count on the playing the Giants week 1, which we actually didn't. We play them week 2, or the Cowboys week 18. That's always what happens with Commanders, and it's just the Commanders. It's just weird. But overall, besides playing the NFC East, I don't see this as a terribly hard schedule. The Steelers are a big question mark. The Ravens are a hard team. The Browns are a hard team, but it really matters about the quarterback play. The Bengals, I don't know. You can't really know because if Joe Burrow comes back to what he was before, then it's a hard team, but he was injured, so I don't know. Overall, it's a easy, not a, it was a evenly balanced schedule of playing, mediocre and good teams. So I'm not upset about it. Only really upset about the bye if things go well. And so now I got our homer schedules out of the way. We'll go on to looking at the Thursday night games, the Sunday night games, and the Monday night games, and seeing there it is. What games maybe could replace, are these good games that we could be watching, for Thursday night, for Sunday night, and for Monday night. And we're probably not going to go into in depth of hey, what game can replace this game. We're just going to look at it and see this is a bad game. We don't even bother. This is basically we're basically doing a very very, very early marquee or Martin Manure type of thing.
Well, let's look at this. Can you also add week 1 in the
because it's a Sunday night game.
I see. Okay, so all of these throughout week 7 up through week 6, these are all divisional games.
That is true.
So
they're always going to be exciting in that sense, but
yeah, the AFC East is well represented in those first 3 weeks. So all of them.
So the Dolphins and Bills, very exciting matchup. The division was on the line for them last year, one of these teams last year, and the Bills won. So we're back at that again. The Jets and Patriots, probably a manure for me, honestly. I'm not going to watch that. I don't care to watch this. I mean, I don't know. Giants and Cowboys is interesting to me. These are all division games. They're all up until the week 7, like you said. So they're going to be interesting in some sense, but not super interesting in that. I don't know. It's just, the Giants, and then there's the Cowboys. One good team versus a team that doesn't even know where their quarterback is yet. So
yeah, I could see Broncos and Saints getting replaced by week 7.
I don't know it's like a certain week they replace them, or it's just they can replace any game. So
right.
But I can see that being replaced. This one might actually be interesting. Just kind of depends. Texans and Jets, probably going to be a blowout unless actually Aaron Rodgers is back. I keep thinking they have Zach Wilson. So this game might actually be interesting.
Zach Wilson is a Bronco.
That is true. So Jets and Texans might actually be interesting as long as I believe they actually played week 1, the Bills, the Jets and somebody else. So as long as Aaron Rodgers doesn't tear his ACL on the second play again, then this could be an interesting game. Sorry, fourth play. I underestimated him.
Probably the most interesting game I'm seeing, if you scroll down, or no, stay right there, is week 10.
Yeah.
Bengals, Ravens.
Yeah.
Two powerhouse teams right there. Provided a healthy Joe Burrow. All right, let's scroll down a little bit more.
Eagles Commanders, we kind of talked about this a little bit. One of our only primetime games, but it is in Philadelphia, so I don't know how that'll go.
Yeah, this is interesting. Week 13 is actually a Friday night, Thursday night football game.
Yeah, Black Friday.
Because the Packers are playing Thursday night, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then they'll play again. The Lions also play Thanksgiving. So that they're well prepped. That'll be another close game.
Lions, Packers. We just mentioned the Lions. 49ers, Rams. That's another interesting game. Both teams are one team is probably going to make the playoffs, or one team might make the playoffs. The other one's probably going to win the division. So that's a very interesting game. Bengals, Browns, another one that's it could go into and depending on how the quarterbacks play because they were both injured last season, and depending on how they bounce back, this could be an interesting game. And then probably might honestly be the worst way to end it off, except besides Patriots and Jets, is Seahawks and Bears. Which unless Caleb Williams is good, which he'll probably get things kicked off by this point. So it's actually not as bad of a game as we all thought it would be, but it is Thursday night. So
It's
moving
Sunday
on
night.
to Sunday. Yeah, Sunday night. Thursday night, Sunday night. Chiefs at Ravens. Last
AFC
year's
Championship
AFC
game
Championship.
matchup.
Yep,
That'll be a good game. Good way to
definitely a
kick
good
it
game.
off.
Yep, just like last year's Lions and Chiefs. Yeah, another good game to kick it off. Week 1, Sunday night, Raiders at Lions. So Matthew Stafford's return to Detroit. No, they did that in the playoffs last year. Never mind. Or was that Goff's return to LA? Which one was it?
Stafford's return to Detroit.
Okay, so this has already happened. So no hype needed for this one, but it'll be a good game.
The game I'm pretty interested in here is week 2, Sunday Night Football. Bears going to Houston. So week 2, everyone's talking right now. Chicago has this expensive, high-powered offense, right?
Yeah.
But then we saw what the Texans did last season and how they turned it around. D'Amico Ryan's head coach of the year, offensive rookie of the year, and their quarterback, C.J. Stroud. And so I'm curious to see if the Bears are going to make this a close game or if it's going to be a blowout by the Texans.
I'm interested in that too. I mean, the Bears have a good defense. I mean, they lost a couple of key pieces, but I really think they've really revamped their offense enough to be formidable in this game, honestly. Just something that can make it interesting. And I think the Bears have that this year.
Yeah.
Moving on to week 3, Chiefs at Falcons. Not sure about that one. I mean, not like it's a bad game. I'm like not sure how it'll go because if the Falcons are good like we all like people think they will be because Kirk Cousins is in town and they got a couple key signings and whatnot. This could be an interesting game as well.
But it's Kirk Cousins in prime time, so
very true.
Chiefs.
Ravens at Bills, very interesting game. Or Bills at Ravens, sorry.
Cowboys at Pittsburgh. Justin Fields or Russell Wilson.
I think
that's
it's probably
not bad.
Russell Wilson, yeah.
Bengals at Giants. Bengals on that one.
Yeah.
Jets at Pittsburgh. I mean, this could be the Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields rematch.
True.
That no one expected.
Yeah.
Probably more interesting is week 8, Cowboys heading out to San Francisco. Again, 2 high-powered teams. This is also that time of year where the Cowboys are going to be screaming.
Yeah, definitely. 9, Jaguars at Eagles. The Jaguars are a very big question mark for me this year, and not because, it's because their team is, to me, like not bad, but not their team is average to me, and not in a bad sense because they have enough talent to go 9-8 or 10-7 and maybe win the division or even make the wild card. But the Jaguars just screams average to me, and the Eagles, they don't do that. They don't scream Super Bowl contender anymore. I called that last year. They were like 10-1 or something like that, and I was like, I consider the Eagles my dark horse team, and ever since then, they fell off. They lost the division to the Cowboys. They lost in the first round to the Buccaneers. And I don't know if I'll see that same Eagles as I did last year. So this is a very interesting game. It could be just a simple battle of mediocrity, honestly.
Yeah. Lions, Texans. I think it'll be an exciting matchup.
Very exciting.
A little less exciting, week 11, Colts at Jets.
I think this is the Colts team. Colts lone single primetime game.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure. We didn't even get to look at the Colts schedule, which I guess he's not here to talk about it, but so week 12, Eagles at Rams, another interesting one. At this point, if the Cowboys are playing very well and the Eagles are playing under, I guess, subpar per se, this could be a game where it kind of decides based off tiebreakers, very early decides one of the wild card seedings. Honestly,
Yeah,
we
it's
talked
true.
about Dolphins at Packers already.
Which is Thursday night, Thanksgiving, not Sunday night.
Yeah, and then week 13 actual Sunday night football is 49ers at Bills. Very great matchup. Very great matchup.
I don't know. The Bills haven't really recouped what they've lost
True.
so
Yeah.
far
I
this
mean,
offseason.
true. I can see it, but like Josh
We'll,
Allen
we'll
always
know
finds
closer
a
to
way to
week
just
13 what this will be.
true.
Always
Week,
a good head-to-head matchup in week 14,
yeah.
Chargers at Kansas
Divisional
City.
matchups are always nice. Week 15, we talked about a bit. Did we? Yeah, we kind of did. Packers at Seahawks. I was just had to remember. 16, we on Saturday. Texans at Chiefs. Very, very, very interesting game.
Yeah.
And then 16, Buccaneers at Cowboys. This can Buccaneers seemed like to be a good team. Cowboys are always a good team. They just don't do well in the playoffs. So overall, this is actually looking like to be a good matchup. And then week 17, the last confirmed Sunday night football game is Dolphins at Browns. I don't know how to feel about I don't know how to feel about that one. It's kind of tough. I'm not because the Browns, like we were talking about with the Bengals, the quarterback was injured. We don't know how that'll go. Whereas the Dolphins have a very killer offense, so it could go either way, honestly. But Dolphins are more ready for me, in my opinion.
Yep. All right, Monday night. We've been waiting all podcast for Monday night.
Week 1, Jets at 49ers. The Aaron Rodgers return to Monday night.
What a game not to miss.
For you, all you got to do is watch 5 snaps and see if he plays 5 snaps, and then you can turn it off if you want to. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Week 2, Falcons at Eagles. Very interesting match. I mean, it's Kirk Cousins in prime time, but it's still a very, very interesting matchup. I mentioned this earlier. Brandon mentioned this earlier, or well, I mentioned one team. Brandon mentioned the other team, but this could be a very, very battle of mid, as they call it. Just teams that don't scream very, very, very strong to me, but don't scream very, very bad to me either. They're just trying to hang on, I guess. And I wouldn't say that either. They're just, I don't know how to describe it. They're mid, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Talk about Bengals or Commanders at Bengals. Week 4, Dolphins at week 4 games actually. Dolphins or Titans at Dolphins and Seahawks at Lions. If I were you, I'd probably watch the Lions game just because Titans don't seem very strong to me, and the Seahawks at least seem like a wild card team to me in some cases. And the Lions are going to win the division again, probably. And if it comes down to the week 18 Packers Lions. If it's actually they play the Bears, so never mind. Week 5, Saints at Chiefs doesn't scream anything that exciting to me either. Chiefs are going to win probably. Week 6, Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers, Bills. That happened last year. Will he tear his ACL at this time again? We don't know. We'll find out. 2 week 7 Monday Night Football games. There have been more Monday like double headers on Monday night than they were last year. Like there's a couple outside of week 1 that like they're doing, which is very interesting. Ravens at Bucks and Chargers at Cardinals. Neither of these games scream anything exciting to me, really. More so, this one screams a little bit more excitement, but not so much. So that's that. Giants this one does not scream excitement to me at all. Actually, Giants at Steelers. Probably won't watch it. Week 9, Buccaneers at Chiefs. An interesting game to say the least. Week 10, Dolphins at Rams. I mean, I'm not like every time I'm going down this list, I'm looking at like I'm looking for a Chiefs and a Ravens or a 49ers and an Eagles or 49ers and a Lions or something like that. I'm not getting any of that. These are just underwhelming for me so far. I don't know what you think, but they're just underwhelming.
I agree until we get to week 11 and week 12. So we have the Battle of Texas, right?
Yeah.
Houston at Cowboys, 2 high-powered offenses, 2 great teams, and then going into week 12, we have the
The
Ravens
Harbaugh
at
Bowl.
the Chargers.
The Harbaugh
Yeah.
Bowl.
And those are always great matchups.
Mhm.
You are not going to want to miss.
Then right after that, we get back to mid. I mean, or just underwhelming. Like Broncos don't even know who their quarterback is. Probably Bo Nix, but we don't know. And the Browns, we don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to perform up to what they traded for him. So because he got injured, we don't know what he's going to have. What's going to happen? So it's just another underwhelming game. This one is a little bit more suitable, I guess, for Monday night if Joe Burrow and the Bengals bounce back. Bengals at Cowboys, very interesting game. The Cowboys always make a late season push. The Bengals could be there at some point, but we don't know. It's too early to tell, especially with training camp not even starting. Week 15, week 15, 2 games. Bears at Vikings. Although both teams seem to be, probably looking for a very late wild card spot late in the season, week 18 type style. Division games are always very important and very interesting. So can't even call that one underwhelming because there's always something going on with these division games. And then Falcons at Raiders. Kirk Cousins in primetime. What else do you want to know? I guess Kirk Cousins actually got a lot of primetime games this year, so that's surprisingly. They feel like I've said him like 5 times already.
Week 16, my birthday game.
Yep, Saints at Packers, and then they end off Monday Night Football with a pretty good one, actually, the championship game from last year.
Lions at 49ers.
Yeah. So we're not going to go very much into depth because you can easily probably guess. Like for example, we'd want there to be another Monday Night Football game for the Bills at the Jaguars at Bills, or the Titans at Dolphins. There's probably other games that are suitable for Sunday night, but I can understand from an NFL standpoint, you don't want to overstack like the best teams in these slots. Although it does, and when you're looking at it and you're saying it from a perspective of a fan, it's like, why wouldn't you want these games? You're going to get the most money when these, the Chiefs and the Ravens play on every Monday night or something like that. But you got to kind of level it out and have Buccaneers fans get a chance or Cardinals fans or whatever. And so I can see it from that standpoint. So it is hard making a schedule. I mean, technology has made it easier because back in the 80s and 70s and whatnot, and 90s, they probably did it through some sort of like drawing board per se, and now they're using a technology system to do it. So, but it's still a lot of work, and it's football. We just got to appreciate it. We're complaining. We are complaining about these games now, or we'll probably be complaining about these games whenever they happen. But right now, in April, May, June, July, and August, we're just wanting any sort of football that we can get, and so we'd be happy to take a Giants and Steelers game whenever Monday Night Football, whenever the chance comes. So that's probably overall what we're looking at is, we'd want the games right now, but when they come, it's like, I don't even know if I'm going to watch it because if they perform so bad. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We just wanted to quickly go over the schedule release because we didn't get to last week when it came out, and we want to do some trivia. We do not know when we'll be live streaming again. We're like after the schedule release. We have mini camps, OTAs, volunteer camps, and mandatory camps, and then training camp. We don't know what we'll see out of those. So we don't know when we'll be back. But me and Brandon and maybe Matthew, depending on his schedule, he is off of sabbatical now, so it kind of just depends on the 3 of our schedule combined. We might hop on and do some more BDGE trivia because that stuff is pretty fun. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes depending on how hard it is, but just some things to incorporate in the off season. So you might see us next week, maybe, if the BDG actually has a very good trivia that's, simpletons and average people like me and Brandon can solve. And so you might see us next week. You might see us in 3 months when the season starts. Either way, we'll talk to you guys soon. So thank you for watching.